Good morning. Good morning, Suma. Hi, how are you? I see you. So I'm talking to you.
Yeah,
I see Rima too. Hi, Rima. How's everybody else if you're here?
doing good.
I like faces. I like faces. Ooh, faces. I see more faces. Makes me so happy to see faces. Thank you. How is it going, everyone?
Good. Looking forward for the vacation.
Vacation, where are you going?
I'm not going anywhere, just, in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Love it. Love it. I have a little bit of a vacation coming up. We'll take it. It's called Thanksgiving Day. That's my day.
Yes.
I'm very excited for a day to just not have anything to do. Um, okay. So today, everyone, we are going to talk about 3 hacks to transform your business. Do y'all want to transform your business?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm assuming that's why you're here. Ashley says, just getting ready for Turkey Day. Michael has all next week off. Oh, yes. Kids are out of school. I love it when kids are out of school. Traffic around my house is so nice. Let's be real. Coming back from the gym in the morning is like a 10-minute drive versus a 25-minute drive. So, um, okay. So 3 hacks to transform your business. Okay. So is everyone getting ready for 2025? Are we all kind of like there? How many of you like, do you have some deals that you're kind of closing out right now? Like if you don't have your deals in escrow right now, you're probably not going to close them this year, just so you know. So don't be surprised if you don't have any income coming in December right now. You're probably not going to. I mean, you might if you have like a cash buyer or something, but the likelihood of your deals closing in January is pretty high. Okay. So let's all think about right now. We've got to think about 2025. This is the time of the year when a lot of people take their feet off the gas. Right. I mean, it feels like it. I'm not going to lie. I mean, this week I was just texting Sabrina this morning and I'm like, man, I have just had low energy all week long. Like, I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, like forcing myself to get up and go. But the reality is like that's the kind of this time of year, right? This time of year is kind of that time of year where it's just kind of it feels like we want to relax a little bit. It's the holidays. We should, right? We should take this time of year to celebrate and be with our families or do whatever we like to do during this time of year. But the problem is, if that's all you're doing, right? What's going to happen in January or February? Nothing. Literally nothing. Like nothing's going to happen because what happens is the seeds that you plant today take about 3 months to harvest, right? We all know that. We know the cycle is about 90-day harvest cycle, right? So the seeds that you plant today are what's going to happen in February, March. The seeds that you put together in October, that's what's going to happen in January. I'm very excited to say my January is booked up. It's awesome. I love it. Okay, I love going into 2025 with the booked up year. So the seeds that you plant today are what you have, or what's going to propel you forward into 2025. So I know I just asked, are we looking forward to 2025? My next question is, how many of you have already sat down and done your 2025 goal setting? Couple of people. Okay, those of you that haven't, let's just have a little conversation real quick. Okay. We'll take a little minute to coach. Last week it was Rima got coached. So there we go. I'm going to coach the rest of you today. Okay. Those of you who don't have a plan for 2025 yet, why? I'm just genuinely curious. Like, why not? Is there a reason? Is it like timing to try to figure out time to plan? Is it like you just don't know what it is? Do you need help figuring out what that is? Anybody want to?
Honestly have been thinking about it in my head, but putting it off because my team is going to do it all together on the 6th.
Okay. That's okay. That makes sense. Okay. Because you do have time set on your calendar to do it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Joy said, I have one, but I'm doing a major revision and revisioning. Yes. Okay. Ashley said she's started. Anybody else? Do you have at least a plan to sit down and work on your 2025 goals? Yes. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Those of you that don't, let's just put that on the calendar right now. Let's do like right now, take a minute and look at your calendar and put a date on your calendar to look at 2025. I'm not saying that the very first date that you put on your calendar has to be the final date. You don't have to get married right away. Okay. It's your first date. And it's a date where you just have to kind of explore. What are some of the things I want to accomplish in 2025? Where am I trying to go? A really good place to start is to think about what you wanted to do in 2024 and where you ended up. It's a really good place to start looking at 2025.
Mhm.
I'm going to give you a little secret. This is one of my hacks to transform your business. Is I like to look at a whole year as a vision. I don't like to look at a whole year as a plan. For me, I'll tell you why. It's because I am a planner. When it comes to my business, I have a plan. Everything's strategic. Everything's methodical. And what happens if you try to plan out every single day of every single month of a year?
Right.
It's not going to happen. Right? So you've got to have an overall vision of where you want to go. Right? That's the very first thing. So you want to have your goal, like when you're looking at your 2025 vision, one thing you want to do is you want to think about what is like, if how many of you were on the call a few weeks ago when I had Christine on here talking about being delusional in your goals? It was an awesome call. If you weren't here, you need to watch that call. It was so good. But you need to be delusional in your goal for 2025. Don't let yourself get over the limiting belief or get over it's too big. It's not big enough. Don't. Just like when you sit down and you think about your vision and what you want to do in the next year, think about how big can you go. This is an exercise I did with my coaching students not too long ago. I had them all write down the number that they want to achieve in 2024. So I'll have you all do it. There you go. In 2025, write down the volume that you want to achieve or the income, whatever that is. Give me a quick thumbs up when you're done. Okay. Now,
Lynea, real quick.
Yep.
Is that a dollar amount or is that a a transaction amount?
whatever that number is to you, Rima, that's what that number is. Because some people are going to connect with the transaction count. Some people are going to connect with the volume. Some people are going to connect with an income. So whatever that number is to you, that's the number. Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to be able to connect with your own goal. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to put times 10 next to it. Okay, you all have your number? That's your goal, not the small one. Because what happens when we write that small number down, okay, and the small number is probably a big number, by the way, I'm not discounting any of those numbers. The small number is probably a big number, but what happens when you're only trying to achieve that number? How many of you, I'm sorry, let me back up. How many of you had a goal for 2024? How many of you achieved that goal?
I'm going to.
Okay. You have two people. So the people that did achieve it, I'm sorry, the people that didn't achieve it, why didn't you? I mean, there's probably lots of reasons, right?
Lots of life distractions and changes and upheavals that took focus away.
Lots of things get in the way, okay? So what happens when you only focus on that one number, that smaller number? Let's say that number is 100,000 GCI. Okay, let's just put that number out there. When you're focusing on 100,000 GCI, you know that for me, for example, to earn 100,000 GCI, I only have to sell about 7 homes. Okay, that's just the volume. That's the market that I'm in. Okay, to earn 100,000 GCI, I have to sell about 7 homes or less. To sell 7 homes for me, is that pretty easy?
Mm-hmm.
For me.
Yeah.
So if I said, cool, I want to make $100,000 in GCI. I want to sell 7 homes. What is going to change about what I do? Nothing. Right. If I said, I want to sell 70 homes and I want to make $1 million in GCI, what is going to change about what I do?
Everything.
Everything is going to change, right? What's going to change the most is going to be my habits. Because in order for me to sell 7 homes, and I'm not sitting up here to brag because I know 7 homes is a lot for some, okay? So I'm not saying that, but this is my own personal business, okay? So take this 7, what I'm saying, put that into your number, okay? For me to sell 7 homes, like I literally get up and maybe make 1 phone call a week. Okay. But if I want to sell 70 homes, I can't make 1 phone call a week. Or if I do make 1 phone call a week, it's got to be who I make the phone call to, right? My habits have to change. So when you're focusing on that 2025 number and the first number that you wrote down, I'm going to bet that that number is already achievable for you.
No.
Okay, then Joy, you need to make
I mean, okay, it is achievable, but it's a stretch. I went for a big audacious goal.
Are you
We're gonna-
okay?
Well, sorry, still gonna put times taste. We have to, because we have to make sure that the numbers that you're putting down are going to change your habits.
I love it. Yeah.
Because only focusing on that first number that you wrote down, yeah, it's a little bit of a stretch. It might feel a little uncomfortable, right? But you need to feel really uncomfortable. What is the most uncomfortable experience you've ever been through?
Are you asking me?
And
For me, the most uncomfortable experience was not doing any business in the middle of this year and feeling like I couldn't pay my bills. What was that going to look like? I like to be an earner and support my family as much as I can. So not being able to do that was really uncomfortable. Actually, I have another one, but I'm not going to tell that story today. But it's around the same subject.
yeah, how many can relate to that? Can you all relate to the months of not having any income and wondering if this is the right business you should be in, stressing out,
Right?
stress behind
Not eating. Yeah.
the fear of, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to give you a little secret, a little mindset tip right now. Money is an inanimate object. Money is intangible. All it is energy. So what happens when you're in that uncomfortable zone of, oh my God, I don't have any money? What are you doing?
Keep putting out that energy.
That's what you're doing. You're lowering your vibe. Your reticular activator system is turned on to, I don't have any money. So when you're thinking about your vision and your goals for the next year, you've got to think about the habits that you're going to put in place today, because what happens is those habits are completely controllable. The only thing that's going to change your business is the controllables. So you can't focus on if someone's going to, you can't focus on if someone's going to say yes. You can't control that. You can't control what the market's going to do. You can't control what the economy is going to do. You can't control what NAR is going to do. You can't control the outcome of an election. You can't control interest rates. You can't control any of that stuff. And what happens all the time is we sit here, and I literally talk to agents every single day. It's what I do. And I hear every day, my business isn't working because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, everything but I. My business isn't moving forward because of everything but I. So when you're thinking about your 2025 goals, I want you to think about that big number. And what are the habits that you have to put in place to be able to make that big number happen? How many phone calls do you have to make? How many people do you have to talk to? How many hours of the day should you actually be away from your computer and actually making connections with people? It actually kind of surprises me how many real estate agents don't like to talk to people. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's funny. It's funny because I'm like, I had news. I had news. Okay. Literally, business does not happen unless what?
You talk to people. You have clients.
A conversation happens, right? So, and also, the conversation can't just be a random conversation. It's got to be an intentional conversation. So if you want to sell the 70 homes, like we're going to take my number because that's what I put out there. If I want to sell 70 homes, what do I need to do? The answer is really simple. What do I need to do to sell 70 homes?
Have a lot of intentional conversations.
Yeah. Have more intentional conversations. That's it. That's it. It's the only thing I have to do. Because guess what? That's the only thing that's controllable. In the whole scheme of all the other things, I can write content, I can do all these things, and all that stuff is intended to start conversations, right? But the only thing I control is how many intentional conversations I have. I can't control the number of people that actually talk to me, but I can control the way I want that conversation to go. I can't control the words that come out of my mouth. I can't control my call to action. I can control what I want from that conversation. So when you're thinking about your 2025 plan, think about that. What's the intentional habit that you need to put in place to make that big number happen? And I kind of hone in on that a little bit, because when I told you all to write down your goal, the energy that I got from the people that I can see was, okay, cool. And then I said, now I want you to multiply it by 10. And all of a sudden I was like, Jackie's eyes go real wide. Yeah. Because it's a big number, right? When you go from 7 to 70, it's like, holy cow. But here's the deal. Have you ever read that book, 10x is easier than 2x? Those of you that haven't, please add that to your arsenal right now and listen to it or read it, whatever you want to do, and do it a million times. Read it over and over and over again. That book, along with Who Not How, are the two books that I start my year with every single year.
Oh, not now. I need to get
Every year I start with 10x is easier than 2x and Who Not How. Because it is a lot easier to think of things in 10x than it is in 2x. Because when you think about doubling your results from this year, it's kind of hard. You kind of get stuck in the weeds of how am I going to double, right? But if you think about 10xing where you're at today, what tends to happen is you start to think of that one thing that's going to make all the difference. Like a second ago, I said the only thing that's stopping me from getting to my 70 deals a year is number of conversations. That's it. That's it. So I'm thinking about those plans. Think about that one thing that's going to make the difference. Another book that's really good, if you want to think really about how to set goals and make them very, very effective, is called 4 Disciplines of Execution. It talks about having one wildly important goal. This is not a secret. There's so many books out there, self-help gurus who talk about the power of one more. Ed Milet wrote The Power of One More. Okay. Like we all talk about just that one thing that's going to make a difference. And when you're trying to 10x where you're at today, what you're going to find is that you just need to find that one thing. But we get stuck in like gotta write my social media content. I've got to do this. And don't get me wrong, I teach people how to do that. So of course I know that there's power in it, right? But the number one thing I will always say is like, how many conversations are you actually having? Because if you're putting content out and your content is haphazard, for example, and it's not producing any conversation, that's a waste of your time. Therefore, your content needs to be more strategic, right? So you can have more conversations. So everything that you're doing should lead to more conversations, because the only thing that matters is how many conversations you're having in order to get the numbers that you want. What events are you going to? What are you doing for past clients? How are you having your past clients call you? What kind of conversations are you having on social media? What kind of conversations are you having in person? Those are the only things that matter, the conversations. So if you want to get your goals, you got to have more people to have conversations with. Really, that's easy. Okay, was that helpful for anybody?
Yeah. Probably.
Okay. So stop thinking that everything is controllable. Got to stop. I know I said that a minute ago, but that is the number one thing that you can do for yourself that's going to completely transform your business. Stop thinking it's controllable. Because it's not. People signing on the dotted line is not controllable. You have a listing that's on the market, finding a buyer is not controllable, right? You can control the actions you're taking to attempt to do that, but you cannot control if a buyer writes an offer on your listing. You cannot control if your buyer chooses to write an offer on a home that you sold them. You can control the conversations that you're having around the homes, but you can't control what they're going to do. So stop thinking everything's controllable. And the other thing I want you to think about to transform your business is improving your relationship with two things. I mentioned one a second ago. Money. I will tell you the one thing that I focused on, the relationship I focused on the most this year was my relationship with my money. And that's a hard one, especially like for me, like the relationship with money is really hard. Like I don't have an issue with relationship with health, food, fitness, anything like that. My relationship with money has been really, really, really hard to get to where we're at today. Me and money love each other today. And when I first started going after, when I talk about your relationship with money, I say this because, like I said a minute ago, money is not a tangible thing. Yeah, you might have cash in your hand, which is very rare these days. But it is unlikely that you're ever going to have millions and millions of dollars in cash in your hand. Money is all it is energy that is supposed to be used as leverage. So if you can improve your relationship with money, I have a million books on this. If you want book recommendations on money, I will be happy to give them all to you. But if you can improve your relationship with money, what's going to happen is that more starts flowing to you. So that 10x number that I had you all write down, you control what you can, and you start thanking your money. You start having gratitude for it. You get the stress from money away. And it's really, really hard. I know. Doesn't matter what level you're at, there's always stress that comes with money. Okay. Yeah. Sima, really, really, really good point. The inner voice that whispers, money is evil, money doesn't matter, you're not ready. How many of you ever heard growing up, money doesn't grow on trees? How many of you ever heard money is the root of all evil? I grew up in Christian school. It's ground into my brain. Okay. Those things that we learned about money growing up, they're wrong, by the way. Money is not the root of all evil. Because guess what? Guess who's behind money?
Yeah.
People. Yeah. People. Money can be used for so many, many, many good things. And money should be used to help you serve the people you're meant to serve at a higher capacity. It should be used to elevate your level, your vibe, elevate your frequency. So the more negativity you put to money, stress is negative. The more negativity you give to money, the more money's going to be negative for you. That's just the way it works. Think about having a conversation with someone. When you're mean to someone, when you're rude to someone, what happens? Most of the time they're rude right back. Right? When you tell someone, "Oh God, you're irritating me," what happens? They go away. Right? But when you tell somebody, "Oh my gosh, I love having you around me. You make me feel so much happier. You give me so much energy. You complete me. You fulfill me." Right? What happens? They're in your life more. You get more and more and more of that, and you start attracting that. So you can repel money with negative thoughts and negative emotions and negative feelings, or you can attract it with gratitude. Take your pick. If I can give you like, if you want to 10x your goals, if you want to make that 10x number, you got to have more conversations, control the conversations that you have, and you have to improve your relationship with money. On top of your relationship with money, you have to improve your relationship with your time. Real estate agents have the hardest time grasping this. Your time should also be used as leverage. Every single one of us has 24 hours in a day, and we probably sleep 6 to 8 hours of that. If you're like me, 6. Okay. Some people sleep 10. So 6 to 10 hours of that a day you're sleeping. So what's the math on that? I can't do the math. That's 14 hours. You have 14 hours. Okay. Let's think about what you can do in 14 hours. Well, if you have kids, you're likely getting your kids ready for school, taking them to school, maybe helping with their homework, doing that sort of thing, right? You're probably, if you have a dog, probably taking out for a walk. You're probably spending time with friends and family. Or not. Or what you're doing is you're answering the phone every time it rings. You're getting back to a client at 9 o'clock at night. You're having no boundaries around your time. You're not sticking to a schedule. You're not putting the things that you're committing to, the controllables, how many conversations, you're not putting that on your calendar. And you're just like, okay, I'm just going to answer the phone as it comes in. I'm just going to come to my office now. And I'm just going to, let's see what happens today. Oh, and then we're going to check our email right away. First thing in the morning, we're giving our time away. So you got to improve your relationship with money and your relationship with time, because time is also leverage. The more leverage you have, the more you can serve people. So I did a training not too long ago on calendar, on putting your calendar together. You have to set boundaries around your time. How many of you have problems with setting boundaries around your time?
I think that's why I've watched your training 3 times already.
Good.
Working on it.
Yeah. Like stop. Boundaries, you gotta have boundaries around your time. It's very, 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 very precious. Okay? You should be investing your time in the things that are investing in you. And that's it. That's it. And then finally, my finally good hack, best hack that I can give you, trick to really accomplishing that 10x goal in 2025 is to focus only on serving those people that you are meant to serve. Only those people you are meant to serve. Okay. This means saying no to a-holes in your business. Tiffany.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know my mute. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's cool. I love it because I could hear you. Christine, you came off mute. Do you have something you want to add to that? No? Oh, she's like, no, okay. Okay. So focus only on serving those that you are meant to serve. That's it. That's it. There's no other hack around that. Other than stop chasing the business. Stop. Because what happens when we chase the business is A, we're not respecting our time. We're not respecting our money. And that's the number two thing you got to do. First is you got to control, right? Chasing is uncontrolled. You cannot control the outcome of chasing. Completely uncontrollable. Cannot control it. You're not controlling, you're not respecting your money, and you're not respecting your time. So if you focus only on who you're intended to serve, and I mean at the core of who you are, every single one of us is intended to serve a different person. I truly believe that. I truly believe that if I were to go on a listing appointment with people on this call who are in my own market, if I lost that listing appointment, it is because I am not meant to serve that person, and that is okay. And I'm happy. I'm like, thank you. Thank you, universe, for bringing that into me. I will always, always be grateful for that. Because there's nothing worse than being so desperate for money, so desperate for a deal that I'm going to say yes to people that are going to treat me like I am not a professional, treat me like they're my employer. And that's not the way it works. So focus on serving only those you're meant to serve. And what's going to happen when you do that is that 10x number is going to be so much easier to come by. Because guess what? The conversations that you're having are so much easier to control. The conversations that you're having are so much more fun to have. And that's all I have for you. So that's it. Any questions? Any questions or anything?
Excellent.
Tiffany, did you have one?
How do I go back and look at the old ones?
They're in our Facebook group and we can tag you in some of them.
Oh, I'll just go back and look for them. Okay, thanks.
Yep. So Joy?
So thank you for calling on me, and I'm trying to lower my hand. I want to say that's fabulous. It's all great. And stop chasing really made a big difference for me. We talked about it a lot this year. And that's why I love to do open houses. I just found my ideal client, and, now we're negotiating on her purchase, and I'm not wigged out about it like I get with people who are not the person I'm meant to serve, as you say. Sometimes then I'm all worried about it and stressed and I can't sleep. And this one, maybe we can work this part of the negotiation out, or maybe we go back to the drawing table, but this is my client. Like, this is the person. And I feel so aligned partnering with her and serving her that's made a huge difference.
It makes everything we do that much more enjoyable. And I don't know about you, but I didn't get into real estate to be stressed out and feel like I was working for a corporate America again. Like, if you have heard about my experience with corporate America, like I obviously learned a lot of great lessons, but my exit was not that pretty. It was not pretty at all. It was no longer serving me. I never want to go back there again, and I never want to feel like that again. So I learned early on how to really focus on exactly who I'm meant to serve. And I say no more than I say yes to business nowadays. And there is something super empowering about that. It also makes it so I can sell my 15 to 18 homes a year. And I love that business. And I am grateful for that. And I am happy with that. And I am perfectly fine with that. I one time wanted to have a goal of selling 100 homes. I was like, yeah, 100 homes, top 1%. Let's do it. Let's go, 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 go. I ran myself ragged. Now, some people can do it, and that's awesome. I love, like, if that's because they're meant to do that. Right? So, don't compare yourself and just focus on the things that you can control. Find who you're supposed to serve and serve them. Put your entire energy into serving them. Because what's going to happen is your time is going to come back to you. Your money is going to come back to you. And the joy in what you do is going to come back to you. So write that 10x goal and then find the person, okay, the who is supposed to help you get that 10x goal. Who, not how, okay? All right, I'll see you all. Are we having a call next week? I don't know. I'll have to let you know. I think no call next week. So y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. Please eat a lot of food. If you don't want to eat your food, you can feel free to send it my way because I will happily cook your food for you. And I will see you all in a couple of weeks.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.